Well, good morning. This is the beginning of a new series of videos that I would like to produce, using in part the book by the name, the OASIS, as a guideline, as an introduction to my interpretation of a new earth and the elements of conscious living that I teach regularly and follow at my center here in Ecuador. So I just would like to read a short introduction from this book, which is a series of essays, mostly based on Taoist teachings. And so I'm going to start with this part here, just one paragraph. And so it begins. This was written January 1st, 2013. It is of utter importance that we find a global language to describe our global mind, and that this language clearly differentiates from that of the old forms. I have chosen an energy language, believing that this is a common denominator in the many pointers that have come in the past. A key to our awakened New Earth consciousness is how we see our relationship and describe our relationship with both the timeless realm and the world of time and space. How we see and describe this relationship then becomes how we see and describe ourselves. In energy terms, a primal law of our energetic universe is that energy always flows from places of high concentration to those of low concentration. Creative energy, for example, arises from the creative source of our universe, using you as its portal, if you are open to be used as such in order to manifest or be expressed in the space-time world. Anyone who knows this experience knows the feelings of enthusiasm and joy that accompany this creative process. Our awakened New Earth consciousness is fully aligned with this creative flow. We have been designed by our energetic universe to serve as conduits of creative expression. This has always been our highest function as humans, but in past times, this primary function was obscured by tribal and egoic concerns. Many of us have evolved to the point where these interference patterns no longer dominate our lives. Thus, we have become, or are becoming, whole, happy, and free. So this is the foundation of the New Earth and conscious living, is the awareness of our primary function as conduits through which the unmanifested, as Eckhart Tolle describes God, might manifest in our space-time world. And so as a daily practice, this foundation is key. And so I'll use the elements. I took some short videos I'll introduce as part of this in every broadcast. The elements of air, earth, fire, and water. That these elements can show us, teach us, support us as we participate in a similar way as energetic portals through which creativity, enthusiasm, gratitude, these higher states of vibrational energy manifest in our world, in our lives. This is key. So I will use, when I wrote this book, I used one Taoist commentary. each day as a beginning point for my commentary on our evolution and our expression. So I would maybe call the experience, okay, the OASIS experience, as being what we're shooting for, to have this experience daily where we recognize and participate in our highest function, again, as this portal, as this conduit, as the bridge between heaven and earth. And as we do that, as we participate, we will feel in our energy body these vibrational states of joy and gratitude and enthusiasm, because we are fully aligned energetically with this powerful, unstoppable principle. So it's very key, especially as the world around us goes through its gyrations, permutations, whatever, that we participate clearly, simply with this function. So we'll use again the acronym for OASIS, meaning oneness, arising or awakening from stillness, inspiring simplicity, as a marker, as a pointer that, again, we talk first about oneness as being not just this general spiritual principle, but actually reference to the singularity, the one thing, okay, this primary function that we have as spiritual beings, as participants in a new earth. You know, we have our tribal and egoic aspects to our being. You know, this is what has created our body and our person. So the tribal and egoic mind cares for the body and the person that then becomes the mouthpiece, the spokesperson, the conduit, through which this communication is delivered, this expression is delivered into the world. So the oneness, very key that we think of the singularity, the one thing that we are here to do each day, each moment, the one thing that is this function, this portal of expression for the unmanifested to manifest. It arises out of stillness. So again, part of our practice is to learn the art of stillness. And this is again what the elements show us. And this is what Eckhart Tolle always talked about. Shortly after he wrote his masterwork, The Power of Now, he wrote a small book called Stillness Speaks, meaning as we enter presence or stillness, this condition allows that creative voice to speak through us, to use us as its communication device. So everything arises from stillness, the one thing, oneness, arising from stillness. Okay? This is how we approach our function, literally by creating the condition of stillness. And this is what all meditation, yoga, whatever, different practices are designed to help us cultivate stillness or emptiness. You could use emptiness. Emptiness is a very common description from the Taoists of this condition. To become empty is to become useful. And that makes perfect sense. So the great Sufi teaching about the clay pot, whether it's ornate or simple. The pot itself isn't the point, but the function of the pot is the emptiness inside the pot. So it's useful for carrying things, water or food or whatever. The pot in its usefulness comes from the empty space within it. So it doesn't matter, again, if it's a fancy pot or a simple pot. And this is, again, how we as humans, if our function arises out of this emptiness, that doesn't matter so much what we look like, what language we speak, our level of education. In fact, most of those things that have been acquired are interference patterns that we are looking to eliminate, to release. Remember, the whole key is to eliminate interference patterns. Okay, this would be our practice, and this is, again, returning to stillness. Getting to that point below interference patterns, getting to that state of quiet, emptiness, and cultivating that so we can walk in the world still carrying that, having a sense of balance where there's a certain busyness in our activities, but the master can be fully active while carrying that state of stillness within. And this is, again, what nature teaches us, why we spend time with the elements, so we can watch how effortlessly we can become, that our action can become effortless if it's not overlaid with conditions, with intentions, with ambitions, with whatever. This is the whole practice as described in the principle of Wu Wei, that the Taoist is key to the teaching, is learning this way of effortless action, that you can be masterful, accomplish great things if you're not encumbered by ambition, desire, intention. So many practices that are out there in the egoic version of spiritual practice have to do with becoming more powerful, having clear intention, whatever. And this is all part of the problem. It doesn't really help people arrive at this place of equanimity, which is peace, which is happiness. Okay, so I talked about that idea of becoming whole, happy, and free, that this would be a way of seeing the result of our practice, okay? And so when we talk about being whole, it really describes this relationship of being fully integrated in our function as the portal conduit that brings the timeless realm and the space-time world together. We have this elegant, eloquent communication device. We're integrating heaven and earth. We're bringing the Trinity into this oneness, okay? 3 into 1. Very important. We'll return to that often. So, we come from this tradition of the Trinity, looking at these 3 elements in Christian language, the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and looking to integrate this in our evolution, in our mastery. We become alchemists, where we literally turn the Trinity into unity. Okay, this is again the oneness, the one thing, the singularity. By understanding that, as we participate, we are masters. So each day I will produce a very short 15, 20 minute video. And this is the first one, so I'll see how it works as far as integrating with a little bit of nature video that I shot, some little 10-second pieces that are introducing first the elements of fire and water. And we'll talk about them more each day. But for me, doing it before dawn, before the day begins, is ideal. And we'll see how this format works, reading a little piece and then giving some very brief commentary. Because again, remember, this teaching is so utterly simple. Okay, and go back to OASIS, oneness arising from stillness inspires or inspiring simplicity. Okay, when we really truly see things as they are, it's exquisitely simple. Nothing complicated, nothing obscure. It's perfectly clear, perfectly simple. And this is, again, our evolutionary imperative is to embrace these principles that have been around for thousands of years, waiting for us to return, waiting for us to remember. You know, again, evolution is very important. I mean, there's been important reasons why our tribal and egoic development needed to happen, needed to take these several thousand years to become ready. I want to mention one other thing that has to do with this mastery, our brilliance, or not our, but the brilliance that will use us for its purpose. Okay, it's described, I wrote some years ago a book called The Great Aha. So I would say today, you know, the OASIS Experience is like the Great Aha. So the book was titled The Great Aha, Genius, Creativity, and God. And a key element of this concept of genius, which is, again, what we are asked to participate. As we participate clearly with our function, we become creative geniuses. It's a natural function. I can watch my daughter. She's a creative genius because she doesn't yet have any interference patterns that would stop that natural flow. So anyway, the process that I wrote about then is very academic, but it's these 4 stages of genius, which is preparation, incubation, illumination, expression. Okay, so we as a species, and I would say you as an individual, each day, you do your preparation to meditation, listen to my talk, whatever. My preparation for my day is doing the talk, okay? Preparation, incubation. Incubation is key. We'll talk about this more later. The idea that all you have to do is the preparation, and then you let go. It's not yours to decide what it is this day that will manifest through you. Remember, this power will use you for its purpose, okay? You are simply a device, a communication device, an empty clay pot that's being asked this day and every day to be useful. Allow me, if there was a voice for God, it would say, please be still and listen and allow me to use you for your highest purpose. And in doing so, I guarantee you total happiness, total peace of mind. Okay, so incubation basically just means letting go. It's allowing, just waiting, allowing. Again, the art of surrender. Okay, so prepare, then surrender any ambition, any ideas of what you think you're supposed to do. Because what you'll find is during activity, the thing that maybe this day you were supposed to manifest arises in a most unusual way, not something that you planned. Okay, we're looking for these moments, these aha moments where it's like, wow, this is what I was being called to do today. Totally unexpected, totally unplanned. It doesn't mean we don't plan our tribal and egoic day, because remember, this is part of what we're learning, is that the body and the person can carry on as they do with whatever activities or plans or whatever that the body and the person have scheduled for the day. Your job as a spiritual giant is to allow the body and the person to do what seems to be necessary: eating, eliminating, walking, breathing, whatever, driving a car. But as we practice, we'll start realizing that our activity level often will become much less, because we realize that the point isn't the activity. The point is the awareness that we bring along with our activity. And this awareness will be listening, looking, paying attention for the opportunity to be this beacon of light, be this beacon of enthusiasm, gratitude, love, whatever words you want to use to describe it. But our function is to be a light unto the world. And so this light will shine, this light will manifest without any planning. There'll just be this moment, or if you're lucky, you might have several moments in the day where this beautiful, perfect light of acceptance, appreciation, enthusiasm, love, creativity, whatever, shines right through. And again, this is how I call it, the OASIS experience. You realize in that moment how beautiful, how perfect, how powerful, how unstoppable this is. And with practice, you will become so confident, because this will become the ordinary. This will become what you expect to arise during the day, during whatever activity, or it could be you're just sitting on a bench, you're sitting by the river, and you just have this incredible moment of bliss. That's powerful. That's your gift that you're bringing to the world. It doesn't involve any particular action. It's simply this energetic flow through you. If you can bring a high state of appreciation and enthusiasm into your activity, you can be all alone doing this, and you're giving a huge gift to the planet. I mean, this is our state. It doesn't involve other people. No, again, that's very much a tribal and/or egoic idea that our activity, our blessing, needs to involve other people. That's not true. It's not true at all. And I know, and any master knows through endless hours of solitude, that we bring a great gift in these perfect moments of solitude. It's a huge light, and it will affect others around us, but not in the way we might think. Again, this is not anything to do with how others understand us or interpret us or whatever. I mean, in most cases, most masters are highly misunderstood because they're not playing a game. They're not involved in a popularity contest. They're not trying to do something to affect the world because they think they know better how the world should be. It's just, again, this whole thing starts with emptiness. Like, all I know is that today, like every day, is an amazing gift, an amazing opportunity for me to participate in my highest function, and in doing so, finding true happiness, deep peace of mind, and ultimately a deep understanding of the perfection of all that is. And so there's no way to get tangled up in egoic insanity. Okay, we are here to participate as masters in this perfect evolutionary unfolding, okay, in creating the conditions for this radical new earth to manifest. But it starts with me. It starts with you. We're practicing spiritual practice. Okay, our daily life as spiritual practice. So that's all for today. Thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow.